coming at you today with another fake animal video. This is a truth that I think is kind of self-evident once you've thought about it enough. The fact that animal documentaries, I mean documentaries in general, are BS. And they try to present themselves as just observing reality, but actually it's all produced footage. And especially nature documentaries are extremely suspect, and the amount of fakery that goes on in nature documentaries, it's abundant. There's actually a amazing historical example of Disney completely making up stuff about lemmings, and the whole thing about lemmings flying off of cliffs, that was from Disney making up a bold-faced lie about an animal and then producing footage of these little things flying down cliff sides. And nothing new. The Arctic expeditions, or Antarctic, I guess it was the Antarctic ones. If you go look at the old Antarctic expedition photos, the penguins are so obviously little stuffed creatures. I mean, the quality's not even good. It looks like it looks really bad. And yeah, it's just something, I think it's because documentaries are supposed to be coming from a more authoritative standpoint that people just don't even consider that, hey, maybe documentaries are just made up. And I mean, maybe these people are just involved with Hollywood, and it's not about educating people. It's about making something entertaining. You know what this whole snake thing reminds me of? Jeremy Wade, the fish, whatever, I don't know, what is it called, where he goes out and fishes allegedly for like strange and unusual creatures. And I was watching a Jeremy Wade episode one time, and of course, almost every episode, of course, it's like down to the wire, and then he catches the strange thing, like on the last day that he was going out fishing. Amazing how many times that same, oh man, where's the fit? Are we gonna get it? Are we not gonna get it? Oh, on my last cast kind of thing, I got it. And it was so obvious that he was just like wrestling around with this rubber creature, this fake animal. It was clearly not alive, and he was just wrestling around with the silicone doll or something on the ground. It was bizarre. But anyways, I guess I'll show you this footage. In my opinion, this is produced footage. I don't believe it. I don't think that it's real. What are the chances of being in a collared shirt and not even scuba gear? This is like a small breathing apparatus. It looks like just snorkeling, basically. How did the cameraman get this perfect angle? It's clearly just produced footage. They take footage of this bozo diving down and pretending, okay, go dive down and pretend that you're seeing this giant snake, and we'll put it in, we'll CGI it in later. People that are good at lighting, understanding lighting and stuff like that, will probably be able to find all sorts of problems with this video, but I'll talk about other problems later after let's show the clip. Yeah, the lighting looks really off. I think it's clearly not real, if you can think for yourself. All right, so there's your evidence of this new, I guess, some stuff that I didn't talk about. This is supposed to be, or that I didn't take screenshots of it, but this is supposed to be a newly discovered species, and they were saying all these stats about it. They were saying how it's like 5.5% genetic difference from other anacondas. And then, of course, they take that opportunity to talk about chimps. They're like, oh, chimps and humans are only this different, and this anaconda is genetically different from other anacondas. This is a big deception of the WWF type fake animal things. They want you to think that there's a trillion different species out there, and everything has to be about evolution. So what is hilarious in this article talking about this alleged newly discovered anaconda, they were already talking about 5.5 million years ago this anaconda diverted from the other. How could they possibly know that stuff? They get so used to being able to just have the most bold lies. They will just make the most outrageous claims about things that's not science. How are we going to go back 5.5 million years to corroborate that this stuff is true? And this thing just got found, allegedly. And as far as I can tell, they didn't capture this snake, and they also claim to have the weight of the snake, the exact length of the snake. How are you supposed to get all that information from just this miraculous, we were like snorkeling and just stumbled upon this thing? You would need to capture it and take tests to get any information out of it. Anyways, let's go through the comments. I think I've already said a lot of the issues that I have with this and reasons it's obvious BS, other than it just looks bad. The lighting was really off on that creature's face, and it didn't even look alive. It looked like CGI to me. There are so many blatant CGI videos out there passed off as nature documentaries. Ones that are coming to mind, there was like the island. Do you guys remember the weird viral like Island of Snakes video where like millions of snakes started coming out of nowhere and like chasing something? There was some really obvious CGI frog video that went viral a while ago. It's like a stone frog or something that could fall. I don't know. These things are very common. Fake animal videos. It's much easier to fake footage of wildlife than it is to go and get real footage of wild animals. It's also the solution to how we have so much footage of gorillas. It's because it's produced. If you want to go do a gorilla documentary, then you get on the phone with Hollywood and you get some fursuits, and then you bring the fursuits out to location and you film. This guy's a wildlife biologist. He does this on the daily. Is it safe? No, but he knows what he's doing. It's always the experts, the illuminated individuals. I think this is part of why they think of themselves as being illuminated special. They're special because they get to do these extraordinary things that regular humans wouldn't do. They have extraordinary bravery because they're not afraid of this giant thing. But the truth is that they know it's a bunch of BS. Dumb question. How do you even measure this? And actually, it's not a dumb question. It's a really smart question that everybody should have. Dumb question. How do you even measure this and actually know the weight? And then you get the jokesters in the reply. Masons loved people who know that this stuff is fake. More than anything, they love joking about it and making it clear that they know it's fake, but then joking about it. They like to get a chuckle out of it. Easy. Water displacement. They weigh all the water now, and then water displacement isn't about the weight of the water. First of all, it's about the level. They weigh all the water now, and then again when it goes to land and get the difference. It's the scientific way. These people are jokesters. I think they know the truth. They have one of those dudes from the carnival. I like this answer. They bring out a carnival guy. How much does that snake weigh? Am I the only one that just discovered snakes slither on the ground underwater? This comment was brilliant. I didn't even think about this. This person had a brilliant idea. Yeah, nothing about that looked right. When have we seen snakes slither on the ground underwater? That's not how snakes swim. All snakes swim on top of the water. Poisonous snakes can float when they stop. On the contrary, non-venomous snakes sink below the surface when stationary. Their head is the only part of the body that can be seen above the water. So I don't know if this explained it exactly, but I never saw any explanation of snakes slithering on the ground underwater. That is made up. That's just the way that they did this. And this is the kind of thing where they could now write this into the lore. Oh, well, this type of snake does slither on the ground underwater. Okay. Some animal lore that I just saw that's ridiculous? The platypus. I just saw something that people were saying that platypi glow under UV light. It's so ridiculous. They just come up with the most stupid stuff for their fake animals. And the platypus, of course, is an over-the-top one. Those are not real. They are Oftentimes platypi are clearly just CGI, but sometimes they do stick prosthetics on like a beaver and they try to pass it off as a platypus. It's really sad because you can see, I've seen people in the comments say that they've noticed this too, when you can see them trying to get the prosthetic off their face. It's really sad. These people are abusive sometimes to the animals. Almost reminds me too of them using like puppies and stuff. Chow puppies get used to be a panda puppy. They paint them all up. They give them a crazy hair dye to look like a panda. Whatever, some professor, all snakes can swim, and most swim below the water or partially submerged. I think that's where they were talking about with the head above the water. Nothing about swimming, slithering on the ground. They swim. That's not swimming, slithering on the ground. Snakes swim. All snakes swim, is what I'm taking. Only very few snakes that live on land can swim and hunt underwater, but almost all land snakes can float on the surface of the water. There's some conflicting information out here about this stuff. That's something that you realize too, that these people, they try to tell you that they can tell you what was happening 5.5 million years ago, but there still will be things that there's no consensus about. There's still so much to be discovered out there. But they don't want you to think that. They want you to think that everything's already been discovered and you have to become an expert to do anything. And who's an expert? Well, that's for them to decide. Big guy is just trying to slough, is that how you say that? Off his shed. Cute. I've definitely been in ball python subreddit too much because I immediately thought, oh, stuck shed. What's your humidity set at? What are your tank parameters? And then I liked this bottom comment. They need much higher humidity. It's way too dry. So in that video, they showed some skin on the snake, and I think that they purposefully put that in there to add to the realism of it, but it's actually very unrealistic that a snake that is in a super humid environment like this and literally underwater would be having trouble getting off its skin. That's just what I took away from this. Oh yeah, that makes it even less likely that it would have skin, because that's a problem if it's too dry, it seems. I think I've mostly said everything. Maybe I'll play the video one more time. Oh, I like how this bozo is in like a office attire, but people were saying that this is some famous guy and that's the way he rolls. And something to understand is that, who's the Australian guy? I don't know why his name is escaping me. Steve Irwin and the British guy. Man, I'm not remembering people's names today, but they're celebrated because of their believability. These people are celebrated. Is that an orange snorkel that guy has? That's orange. It looks orange, maybe red. I don't know. It looks pretty orange to me. David Attenborough. These people, they're not celebrated because they know so much about animals. They're celebrated because they're really good at pretending to be in front of animals when it's actually a puppet. Puppetry is huge in this stuff. Puppetry gets used a lot. And they kind of joke about that. Have you guys noticed in zoos? A lot of times in zoos, they'll talk about using puppets of the mama to feed the babies and stuff like that. I think of the duck, the Aflac duck is a puppet. And yeah, puppetry comes into this. But these days it's CGI. And I think CGI is worse in a lot of ways. Practical effects, a lot of times they look a lot better. And yeah, I think I mostly said everything. Anacondas are also kind of like Jaws and great whites. Great whites are not real. There are sharks out there, but human killer sharks that are just bloodthirsty, and that's just a made up thing by the media. And I think surfers kind of know that they're not real. It seems like there's a subgroup of surfers that know that great whites are made up. Anacondas, though, yeah, it's just trying to blow something out of proportion. There was the movie Anaconda. I guess that was my point. We have the movie Jaws. We had the movie Anaconda in the 90s. At least I think it was the 90s. Who knows? Well, let me know what you think in the comments. God bless everyone.